Hey guys, how's it going? Today we have a nice little late night project. I was looking for something to do and I found this crotch piece. This is honey locust. It hasn't split yet, and I remember collecting this a while back. I think it was at probably the end of spring, beginning of summer. So this is quite old. It's not perfectly dry yet, but it hasn't moved that much. So I'm just going to turn this into a bowl. So this is going to go straight on the chuck. Well, actually, it's going to go onto a spur drive, and we'll see if I can get something out of it. This is extremely hard stuff. Honey locust is extremely hard, so hopefully it's not too much of a hassle to actually turn. So let's get started. So first things first, this has to go onto a spur drive. Now this is quite hard wood. So I'll see if I'm able to see if the spur drive is sharp enough. If anyone in the comments is watching, how do you sharpen a spur drive? I've never sharpened one of mine, and I feel that's why in some cases they tend to slip. So like if I hold that, there's a little bit of play in there, and I've always had trouble with that. So if anyone knows how to sharpen a spur drive, please let me know. I would be quite appreciative. Alright, that's good. We'll put all the safety equipment on so we don't get completely hammered. And I have a good feeling that I'm going to have to sharpen my gouges regularly with this thing, because I'm telling you, honey locust it's surprisingly hard. As an arborist, because if no one knows, I'm also an arborist, professionally an arborist. Honey locust is extremely dense wood, and even when wet, it's really hard to cut, and it's hard on chainsaws as well. So it's a very nice, fun wood to turn, and it gives beautiful patterns, but it's really, really hard stuff. All right, that doesn't clear. We'll lower the speed a little bit. Alright, 560. I was expecting slower. That's actually good. As you can see, I'm going quite slowly, just to give you an idea of the pattern. It's beautiful. Because as you can see, most of the time I'm turning space, so I have to go slowly not to get the gouge stuck there. That's all nice. All right, my goal is to bring that up to there. and to create a tenon. So, yeah. There's some chipping, not much, but some. Alright, as we usually do, come in this way. Yeah, that's definitely honey locust. Yeah, I'm going with a different shape that I've never really worked with, but we'll see. We'll see. First I have to get rid of that little nub, and then I can put it in the chuck. Alright, take that off. Take that little nubby stump off. There we go, that should fit in the chuck. Beautiful grain. These crotch pieces are always to look for. If you can find one, and this is a small crotch piece, right? This is probably just off a branch, so you can find these basically everywhere. Like, they're not hard to find at all. So I fitted it for this chuck, so that should fit in there. Yep. God, that's weird. So we'll tighten that up. I'll actually put a cloth because I don't want it to stain. Now, I'm just going to make a recess. Oh, that's not right. The nub is still the problem. That's why I hate turning with the tailstock. I just hate it. It just causes so much problems. That's good. Now, am I going to be able to make a recess with that chuck? Yeah, probably. Alright. Now, because this is so hard, I kind of want to sharpen the gouge first. Oh, that's freshly sharpened. You know what? I'll sharpen it just in case. That is really nice. I know you guys can't see it right now. That's really nice grain. Very, very nice. All right. That's the thing with these kinds of bowls and projects. It's because they're just like basically a board. You really can't turn that fast, so it makes it really hard. Will my chuck fit in there, you think? I don't know. That grain is absolutely magnificent, though. I think so. I think I can make a recess in there. Yep. All right, so I'm going to flip you guys, and we're going to continue. It's on there solid. Just rework the foot. So for this you have to be very careful. See, look at that. So for scraping this kind of stuff, you kind of have to be very delicate. I'm not liking that foot. I think that I can make some. I think it could be nicer. That's nice. Now this, I'm expecting it to move a little bit, but it's fine. I'm not too stressed about that, honestly. All right, we'll scrape that. Already starting to see signs of splits. Have to be careful, don't want to catch. If you want to reduce catching, just reduce the amount of hang. And also, remember, scraping is just to refine your cuts. It's not to finish your bowl. It's not to make drastic decisions on how the shape is going to be. It's just to give some nice, just to refine everything. Now I have a little chip there. I don't know if that was there before or after, but nice. I think that's good. For this, I'm going to hand sand it because it is really wonky. But I'm happy with that shape. With my little Allen key, there it is. Now let's flip it on the other side. Look at that. That's just beautiful. And now let's try to do the inside. Because you can't turn really fast, this is what makes these super challenging. It's because you can't turn fast because they're not balanced, right? So you gotta have to go slowly, and that makes it really hard to get really, really thin walls, which I always like to do on these bowls. So we'll see how it goes. Looking. So the way this is done is it goes out like this and then in like that. So I kind of want to follow that, but just to make it easier, I'm going to go sharpen. It's still pretty sharp, but as you can see, I'm just lowering. I'm not going to the final thickness right away. I'm going to the walls first. Stupid mistake. It wasn't a costly one, so it's okay. Alright, I'm going to go sharpen this. Alright, use this one. Very hard to get thin walls with this kind of stuff. Like that's way too thick, but it's hard. It's hard to get thin walls. Alright. By the 1/2 inch. That's better. It's a little bit thick at the top, but honestly, yeah, it's fine. It still can be a little bit thinner. Alright, I think I can start working on that center mass. This is starting to become a job for the bottom feeder. What's fun about the live edge bowls is you can actually see the shape as you're turning because there's space. I'll put you guys in the top hold and see if you guys can see that, because I'm starting to get deep into the bowl. All right. So it's a little bit thicker here, but it's getting very thin at the bottom. So I'm going to start thinning out the bottom, as if you can see here, The bottom's getting thin. So I'm going to try and get that a little bit thinner with the 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to go take care of that. Yeah, I think I made that a little bit too thin. Oh well. Yeah, there's more meat on this side than on this side. Alright, I'll start doing the center. I do want to check, because there is that weakness in the wood. Just want to make sure that it's going to stay together. Don't want it blowing up, obviously. But so far, everything seems to be nice and tight. Check. That's beautiful. So check, that's still feels solid. Doesn't seem to have any movement on that side, so that's good. That is just magnificent, really. Wow. Honey locust is just really, really nice wood. Now the problem that I Alright, that's good. That's what I wanted. Now, is that too much? Because I don't want that to lose integrity. And I'm getting quite thin. I'm not well, thin. Okay, I'm taking the chance. That's thin. That is very thin. The thing is this is so thin that I don't want to scrape. But I have to because I have some ridges in there. To me, that's good enough at this point, honestly. To me, that's just perfect. I'm going to take that off and I'm going to sand it. Now I can maybe scrape a little bit. I can maybe do a little bit of round of a bowl scraper. Just on the last, from there to there. Very lightly. I don't want to scrape too much because when it's spinning really fast, I can't see. And I don't want too much of the edge to hit at the same time. Like, well, that's actually not too bad. But I still don't want to. I'm kind of on the fence about it. If you know what, it's risky. It's risky, and I can blow the whole thing. So I but that looks nice. So. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a weird shape, but I wanted to try something different, something new. And you can see that these crotch pieces are just magnificent. Like, you get these beautiful grains out of these crotch pieces. That's where the real art is. Like, this isn't functional. This isn't a functional bowl, but it looks really good. So if you can find those crotch pieces, they're really easy. So you go on a tree. There you go. That's a crotch piece right there. Nice little crotch. So I can make another one of these like that. I could do other things, whatever. But that's how you find them. You just look for a Y shape in your tree. You cut above the Y and a little bit underneath. And there you have it. That's where you want your bowl. So if you're looking for crotches, if you look for downed trees or you're trimming your own tree, look for those separations. And it happens like this pattern. Every type of wood that has a crotch has that. So you cannot go wrong. Yeah, honey locust is very fun to turn. I hope you guys enjoyed the angle where you were looking down. It's fun because you can see how the shape is going compared to other bowls where you can't really. So yeah, it's a fun way of turning. So as always, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever, and happy turning, and we'll see you next time.